Okay, so we have a slight update on the B-Wing. It has lights. There we go. These are just dry fitted. The insides are just dry fitted. These come pop out, and then there's rings to go over them, which can be seen here. These rings slide over the bulbs. It's just a little detail that's on the original. I was, glad to see that was included. These have been drilled through and popped inside there, and then the wire comes out underneath. I've also done the substructure for the tail gun. So swing that around. That should just. Oops, can't do this with one hand. That should just slide in like that. And then there's the F1 Tamiya hoses. I think these are probably 1/20th, not 1/12. I don't know, they might be 1/12. I don't know if they're off the Tyrrell or the Ferrari 31B, but they're included, so it's saved a bit of cash buying another £200 kit. Also, the tab for the end of the gun just slots on like that, and I think we're going to put a magnet on the back here so it like clicks on when it's in that position. And then finally the top cap that goes on like that. Now I've got the old cockpit. What else? Oh, the only thing to do now is the underside of this cockpit. So where that more as a car part is, there's a few other bits that slot under, but I think I've actually got to do a bit of paint work before I can go in and do that, because I've got to paint the cockpit. It's going to be a close colour to this, to be honest. It's going to be like a light lark or reefer grey dark or something like that. But anyway, that needs to be painted before, because I need to slide the cone on so the underside parts can be slid in behind that. I think that's the order I'm going to go in. And I've got to do this little dude as well, this 1/32 scale pilot. So yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so it's now white. This has been shot with reefer white enamel from Archive X, just mixed with normal white spirit, 50-50 pretty much. And yeah, it's taken several coats. It's still wet. I don't know where I can turn it really, but as always, that reefer white is gorgeous. I'm going to have to close these wings, fold them down, then do the wing bar that will be still in primer because the paint wouldn't have hit that bit. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. The nose cone's done, or cockpit cone. A few other bits that needed doing. The other engine parts are just sitting back there because the engines, let me just move this, the engines are in the darker shade, but I can mask off that and spray them the darker. I didn't even bother to put mask all over the bulbs because that'll just dull the harshness of the LEDs, which is a good thing. To dim them down and diffuse them somewhat is welcomed. But yeah, I'm happy with that. What's interesting about the B-Wing, the orange dot B-Wing anyway, I haven't done much research on the other blue one. I've made it as a smaller model, but not as a studio scale one before. I've done one of these before in the orange dot, which I'm doing this one with. And yeah, what's interesting is the paint is all the chipping, apart from on the orange dots, that appears to have been chipped with Maskol, but all the front of the ship, all down here and along here, is all topically painted. It looks like Bill George, I think, who painted this. I know he built it, but I think he painted it. He applied it with a brush, so all the chipping effects will be quite nice to be applied slightly differently this way. So that'd be interesting to do. Apply the chipping just by hand, which will be nice and therapeutic, just going around it and just carefully adding the chipping. But yeah, that's it with its base coat of reefer white. Okay, so I'm starting to think about the panels now. The blue-grey panels up here, down there on top and underneath here and on the edge here. I'm thinking, with the help of, as always, Guy Cohen and Lee Ralph, when I bounce ideas off both of them, we chat. Lee thinks light blue 55 is a good option, and I'm in agreement. But Guy also said that was, you know, could be right, which is cool. But he also provided me with a really handy pic. You can see it there, of the side. Now that, I believe, is the same colour, but just a tape across there and then oversprayed and misted with a very dark, possibly dark lacquer or even engine black. Now, I'm not going to go and mask out every single panel and then overspray them, because I don't think that's how it was done. I'm going to cheat a bit and just add a few drops of black into the light blue 55 mix and just see how that affects it. I mean, you can see there's areas underneath here, again, looks different. And then you go to the cockpit, and these are from the Mars replica pictures that Jason Eaton took from the archives. You can see the cockpit there. That strip is very grey, dark grey. It might even be a completely different shade, something like reefer grey dark. And again, this is over white, so all these are going to look lighter than they are. That's going to be really striking when I put that on. I'm going to be like, oh shit, look at that. That's really blue. So that's why I'm thinking adding a few drops of engine black into the mix will bring the colour down a little bit. There's also the idea of ILM Stormy Sea Grey, which is the TIE Fighter colour. So it could be one of those chameleon colours where it could be the, you know, the TIE Fighter grey. But then looking at that, that's so blue. If I can focus on that, that's so blue. Maybe it looks more blue because the black above and below it. Misting looks more contrasty, but yeah, this is the you know, the detective work that goes into getting all these colours right. So yeah, I'll see how I go on. I'll do some test swatches, I think, first. Okay, so I've made up this little test swatch. So the far left, that is just light blue 55. Which I think you could probably still just get away with using that, but it is just still on, it's just too pale, too sort of blue. And I believe that, again, you could probably still get away with it because it does have the dark mists, it does have a final mist coat over it, that will shift that blue all over the place. But to cheat and sort of get a comfortable blue that I'm happy with, I think I'm going to go that one. So this is all still light blue 55, and it's just a matter of how much black I've added to it. And when I'm talking black, I'm literally just half a drop into the mixing pot. That can make all the difference. That could be a good shade for the back of the cockpit and the frame. That is sort of in between these two. So it's either this one or that one. I can't remember what's left. I've just mixed it up all nice in my pot, ready to spray, and knocked it on the floor. So I'm going to have to re-mix that. And the other thing, which is a bit annoying, I thought I could keep this all in enamels because I had some left over. I had all the Reefer White in enamel. So all this on here is the enamels. But now I'm going to have to cross over to acrylics, which isn't the cleverest thing to do. You shouldn't really go acrylic on top of enamel because the acrylic dries so fast, and the enamel, I mean, even this is sort of 24 hours cured, you could still run into problems where the acrylic just literally dries so fast that it can pull up the enamel and crinkle it. Enamel over acrylic is fine. You won't get any problems with that unless you really scrub at it. You know, brands make their whole business module on selling acrylics, selling enamels to be washed over acrylic base coats, so that's not a problem. But it's the other way around that you're going to get yourself into trouble, which I'm about to do now. So if I'm just careful though with this and just spray it lightly and build it up in coats and just not flood it on, I think the enamel will be dry enough to take these acrylic panels. So now I'm just going to I think I'm going to do the top of the wings and the end one first. As I say, these are darker. They're darker shades on there, so I can mix up the darker ones. So I've got this one in the pot at the moment, so that's the one I'm going for. But as I say, it's all light blue 55. It's just a matter of how thick you put it on, how light you put it on, what your mix is. Is it dark? I mean, I can see straight away on the wing it's a lighter than the outer side because there's been a mist of the dark you know, shade over it, so it changes all over the time. It's a guessing game the whole time. Okay, so the panels have been sprayed with the custom mix that I made of just that light blue 55 and a few drops of tiniest drop of engine black 1975, just to get that grey tone. I'm quite pleased that in different light it changes colour, so you've got that sort of chameleon effect. This is all literally still wet, you can see it's drying now, but these, I'm going to do that whole sort of dangerous unmasking on camera. This has been initially masked with the Tamiya yellow masking tape, which burnishes very well, so I can get around the hoses and that sort of thing with that yellow one. And then the white tape is just low tack painter's tape, so it doesn't adhere to the model and rip your paint work off, if I can get it off. So, moment of truth, whether this is a nice line or not. Yes, there we go, that's lucky. So that now gets a bit complicated because it does actually carry on around these guns. So these guns will have, this whole thing will have to be masked off again, and then the gun's done. There's a few strips on them that's white. But as far as the colour goes, I'm really happy with that. It does look dark now in the shade. I'll try and bring the light around a little bit and give that a different look. So yeah, I'll go around and unmask all these panels. I won't bore you on film doing that, but once the mist coat goes over that, it will change all over the place anyway. So, I mean, even that might even be a little bit dark, come to think of it. Maybe light blue 55 on its own is the way forward, but again, with these mists and stuff, it shifts. But I'm happy with that so far. Okay, they were too dark. I've just I didn't take all the masking off. I was like, that does look dark. And then I looked at the ref again. I was like, you know, right, when Lee Ralph tells you stuff, it's usually right. Well done, Lee. Light blue 55. I've just gone over it again with just pure light blue 55, and yeah, far nicer. So I'll carry on now, unmask, and see how it looks. Okay, I'm well happy with that. That's light blue 55 all day long. Yep. It's a really tricky one because you just look at the ref and you think, I mean, I've been building and painting studio models for years, and you think you know what you're doing, and you've just got to look past the weathering. You've got to sort of put a lighter filter on your eyesight. You've got to sort of look past all the sort of dark tones and sometimes all the light tones and try and decipher that shade. But yeah, I'm well happy with that. Thank you, Leaf and Guy, for helping, and John Stewart as well chimed in. That was a bit, I know I said it was all topical, but that just looks so close to having mask on it, I thought I'd pop some on. So yeah, orange circles next. Okay, so I've darkened up the back of the engines just with some dark, and then there's some overspray on them as well. Just turn the engines on. There's some overspray here. On there's some blue. I've put it on, but I don't know if you can see it or not. Also, on the mask replica pictures, this like cannon isn't on there. So I built it and then realised when I looked back in the Chronicles book, it's actually on there. So thankfully that was provided in the kit. What else? I've done the bottom, light blue 55, and I've just given these a coat of just a quick blast with Reefer White just to dull them down because they're really pale on the studio model. But I'm really starting to have fun with this now. The engines, I'll turn them off. The inserts I've gloss blacked, ready for the chrome to appear like aluminium, I suppose. And that's it. Yeah, the rest I've got to do the stripes on the back here. Oh yeah, these like tabs that go around the tank tracks. There's a blue panel on them I've got to do. There's loads more to do, but hopefully you can see it better now that I've moved the camera out of the way and put a white background there.